I used to say that as a music educator, I wanted to be committed to the whole choral experience. I thought that by saying this, I was declaring my love for different types of choral ensembles, like show choirs or a cappella groups. It wasn't until I did a recent observation with a high school concert choir that my music educator philosophy changed. Before observing the class, the choir director told me that about half of the class, containing 40-ish students, were freshmen and didn't know very much about music. The other half of the class were special needs students. After the class period was over, I talked more with this teacher. He basically told me that everyone deserves the right to be in a choir. He has only been teaching at his current school for 2 years, and when he got there, not a single kid knew how to sight read. He had to teach the students the basics of sight reading, and still only some of them caught on. After doing some thinking on why his students couldn't sight read in the first place, I made a shocking realization. Most of the students who attended that high school came from my own middle school. I realized that my middle school choir director never worked on sight reading with us and didn't really teach us anything about music except the notes to sing for all of our different pieces. Going into high school, I couldn't sight read. I couldn't even tell the difference between time signatures or how to determine what key something was in. I was lacking in the tools that I needed to succeed in music. And that is exactly what happened for that high school choral department. I still struggle to this day with sight reading, so I know how tough it must be for those students currently learning. In middle school, my teacher was very old-fashioned and often repeated the same songs and musicals almost every year. There was not variety, and she basically made people learn by rote. She prohibited the growth of the choir students and of the choir program at the high school that I observed. I have made the decision that I don't want to just be committed to the whole choral experience. I believe in having the whole musical experience. I don't want to limit my students. I want to provide them with the proper tools necessary to be great musicians. No matter what level I teach, I want to be able to prepare students for the next levels to come. I want to incorporate music theory, sight reading, intervals, and helpful exercises to make the students stronger as musicians. I not only want to have traditional choirs, like a show choir or an a cappella group, but I want to incorporate music classes that would reach a larger amount of the student population, like contemporary or popular music classes, or even solo voice classes. I would also like to talk to my students to see what music classes they would be interested in taking, like a guitar or ukulele class, any non-traditional classes that people normally wouldn't think of. If there is an interest in a music class, I want to explore that option. I want my students to have a place where they feel confident and feel like they are making progress. I would love to have students with special needs in my classes, and I'd also just love to have anyone who loves singing, even if they don't think that they are particularly good at it. Anyone can learn to sing if they are given the chance and the right tools to succeed. I want to help students develop a passion not only for choir, but for music as a whole. I believe in the whole musical experience.